You feel it, don't you? That quiet friction of a life not fully lived, a mind trapped in loops of consumption and obligation. What if the escape isn't out there, but in here? We're going to deconstruct that cage piece by piece. Don't click away. The final frame we build is the one that changes everything. Deconstructing reality. The first thing you must truly internalize is that the reality you participate in is a construct. It's a collective agreement, a story we've all decided to believe. The 9 to 5, the linear career path, the idea that your value is tied to the hours you work. These are not laws of nature. They are chapters in a book written by a previous generation for an industrial era that no longer exists. Mental toughness, in its truest form, doesn't begin with enduring this reality. It begins with deconstructing it. It's the courage to look at the blueprint of society and say, this architecture is flawed. It wasn't designed for the individual. It was designed for the cog. The moment you see the walls of the maze, you are no longer a prisoner of it. You become an observer, and from observation, you can move to redesign. This is not a comfortable realization. It's profoundly unsettling because it places all responsibility squarely on your shoulders. If the prescribed path is a lie, or at least an outdated option, then you are responsible for drawing your own map. There is no one to blame. There is no system to rail against because you've just acknowledged its irrelevance to your personal trajectory. This is the first test of mental fortitude. Can you sit with the profound loneliness of total freedom? Can you withstand the psychic weight of knowing that every outcome from this point forward is a direct result of the new reality you choose to build and the new rules you choose to live by? Most people cannot. They prefer the comfort of the collective story, even if it makes them miserable. The tough mind, the wealthy mind, chooses the ambiguity of the blank page. Wealth, in this new context, is not just financial. That's a lagging indicator. True wealth is sovereignty. It's the ownership of your time, your mind, and your outputs. It is the ability to structure your day, your work, and your life around your own internal clock, your own curiosities, and your own chosen purpose. The daily grind celebrated by hustle culture is a trap. It's an attempt to win a game using the old, broken rules. The real work is quieter. It is the deep internal work of questioning every assumption you hold about success. Why do you want what you want? Is it a desire that was implanted in you by marketers and media, or does it spring from a genuine, authentic core? The process is one of subtraction, not addition. You don't build mental toughness by adding more stress, more tasks, more hacks. You build it by removing the mental clutter, the societal narratives, and the self-imposed limitations that are clouding your judgment. You are stripping the machine down to its essential parts so you can rebuild it for a different purpose. This initial phase is invisible to the outside world. There are no metrics to track, no accomplishments to post. It is you alone examining the source code of your own consciousness, and that is the most difficult and most important work you will ever do. It is the foundational layer upon which all meaningful success, both internal and external, is built. The world is full of people trying to build skyscrapers on foundations of sand. Your first task is to find bedrock. This deconstruction isn't a one-time event. It is a continuous process. You must become a vigilant gatekeeper of your own mind, constantly questioning the new narratives that try to seep in. The world will constantly try to pull you back into a pre-approved reality to hand you a script. Your daily practice of mental toughness is the quiet, consistent refusal of that script. It's the choice, made every single day, to continue writing your own. This is the intellectual and emotional labor that precedes all other forms of labor. Without it, you are simply optimizing your performance within a system that is not designed for your thriving. You are becoming a more efficient prisoner. The goal is not to be the best performing cog in the machine. The goal is to leave the factory altogether and build your own workshop. Input quality. Your mind is a system. Like any system, its output is entirely dependent on its input. You cannot build a mind capable of generating wealth, success, and resilience if you are feeding it a diet of junk food. And the modern world is the most sophisticated junk food delivery system ever created. Social media, breaking news, endless entertainment, these are not neutral tools. They are meticulously engineered to capture your attention, to trigger your outrage, to make you a passive consumer of low-quality information. They are designed to make your mind weaker, more distractible, and more reactive. Mental toughness is therefore a direct function of your information diet. You must become a ruthless curator of what you allow past the threshold of your senses. This isn't about becoming a recluse. It's about being intentional. It's about understanding the difference between consumption that serves your goals and consumption that serves the goals of a platform's algorithm. Reading a dense book that reshapes your thinking is an input. Mindlessly scrolling through a feed of short-form videos is a drain. One builds mental models and deepens your understanding of the world. The other fragments your attention and depletes your cognitive resources. One is an investment, the other is a tax. And this tax, paid daily, compounds into a state of perpetual mental fog. You cannot think clearly, you cannot focus deeply, and you cannot create value when your mind is a chaotic whirlwind of other people's opinions and algorithmically selected stimuli. The practical application of this is simple, but not easy. It requires you to consciously replace low-quality inputs with high-quality ones. This means scheduling time for deep reading of foundational texts in your field of interest: business, philosophy, science, art. It means unsubscribing from newsletters that offer quick tips and subscribing to those that offer deep, timeless wisdom. It means swapping podcasts that thrive on drama and current events for conversations that explore complex ideas with nuance. It means being willing to be bored. The modern mind is terrified of boredom, but boredom is the precursor to creativity. It's in the quiet spaces, the moments between inputs, that your mind can actually process information, make novel connections, and generate new ideas. If you are constantly consuming, you are never synthesizing. This shift will feel like a withdrawal. Your brain, conditioned for the dopamine hits of novelty and outrage, will resist. This is where mental toughness is forged in the trenches of your daily habits. It's the discipline to close the 20 tabs of reactive information and open the single PDF of a challenging research paper. It's the strength to put your phone in another room for 3 hours to do deep work. It's the self-control to notice the urge to check your notifications and to simply let that urge pass without acting on it. Each time you do this, you are casting a vote for a different kind of mind. You are rewiring your own neural pathways, strengthening your capacity for focus, and weakening the pull of distraction. Ultimately, you are what you consume. This is not a metaphor. The information you absorb becomes the raw material for your thoughts. Your thoughts, over time, solidify into beliefs. Your beliefs dictate your actions, and your actions create your life. If you want to change your reality, you must begin by changing the raw materials you are feeding your consciousness. This is the most direct form of leverage you have over your own development. Before you can build a successful business or a strong body, you must first build a strong mind. And a strong mind is built not in the gym, but in the library. It is built in the deliberate, discerning, and often difficult choice to consume that which nourishes, not that which merely entertains. Your future self is a direct reflection of the quality of your inputs today. Systemic thinking. The average person thinks in terms of goals. I want to make $1 million. I want to get a promotion. I want to lose 20 pounds. The successful mind, the tough mind, thinks in terms of systems. A goal is a one-time outcome, a destination. A system is a process, a set of repeatable behaviors that over time make the achievement of that goal almost inevitable. Relying on goals is like relying on bursts of motivation. It's fleeting and unreliable. Building a system is like building a machine that works for you day in and day out, regardless of how you feel. The mentally tough individual doesn't wait for inspiration to strike. They show up and execute the system. This is the bridge between abstract ideas and tangible results. Think of your life and your work not as a series of disconnected tasks, but as an interconnected ecosystem. You have a learning system, a creation system, a health system, and a financial system. These are not separate. They feed into one another. Your health system, sleep, nutrition, exercise, directly impacts the energy you have for your creation system. Your learning system, the high-quality inputs we just discussed, provides the raw material for your creation system. And your creation system, producing valuable content, products, or services, is what fuels your financial system. The goal isn't to work hard on any one part. The goal is to design a harmonious, self-reinforcing ecosystem where progress in one area naturally leads to progress in the others. For example, instead of the goal, I want to write a book, you build a system. I will write 500 words every morning, immediately after my coffee, before checking my email. The goal is a distant, intimidating peak. The system is a simple, actionable step you take on the path today. The first requires a massive amount of activation energy. The second requires only a small amount of discipline, which, when repeated, becomes a habit. Mental toughness isn't about having superhuman willpower to tackle enormous challenges. It's about having the consistency to follow a simple, well-designed system every single day. The power is in the compounding effect of these small, systematic actions. This applies directly to wealth creation in the modern age. The old model was to trade time for money in a linear fashion. The new model is to build a system that decouples your time from your income. This is the essence of leverage. A writer builds a system for publishing articles or a newsletter. A single article can be read by thousands, generating value long after the time it took to write it. A software developer builds a system, an app or a service that can serve millions of users simultaneously. They are not working for each user individually. They built a machine that works for them. This is systemic thinking applied to finance. You are not selling your time. You are building and refining an asset, a system that generates value. The design of these systems is where your creativity and self-awareness come into play. What are your unique skills? What is your unique knowledge? What is the intersection of what you are good at and what the world finds valuable? Your personal system should be built around this intersection. It's not about copying someone else's system. A system that works for a highly extroverted salesperson will not work for a deeply introverted analyst. Mental toughness includes the self-awareness to know what kind of system is sustainable for you. Building a system that goes against your nature is a recipe for burnout. The most resilient and effective system is one that is aligned with your personality, your curiosities, and your long-term vision. It should feel less like a chore and more like a natural expression of who you are. The daily execution of this system is how you succeed daily, long before the big success ever arrives. Embracing discomfort. Our society is obsessed with comfort. We have optimized every aspect of our lives to eliminate friction, to avoid difficulty, and to seek immediate gratification. This relentless pursuit of ease has had a devastating side effect. It has made us mentally and emotionally fragile. We have forgotten that all growth, physical, intellectual, spiritual, happens at the edge of our comfort zone. It is the resistance that builds the muscle. It is the challenging problem that sharpens the mind. It is the difficult conversation that deepens the relationship. Mental toughness is not the absence of discomfort. It is the voluntary and strategic pursuit of it. You must begin to see discomfort not as a threat, but as a signal. It is a biological and psychological compass pointing you in the direction of your own evolution. When you feel the resistance to start a difficult task, that is the signal that this is precisely the task you need to do. When you feel the social anxiety of reaching out to a potential mentor, that is the signal that this is the connection you need to make. When you feel the intellectual strain of reading a book that is just beyond your current understanding, that is the signal that you are expanding your cognitive boundaries. The successful mind doesn't run from this feeling. It leans into it. It recalibrates its internal narrative to interpret discomfort as growth rather than danger. This is the principle behind practices like monk mode or deep work. These are not about self-punishment. They are about intentionally creating an environment of productive discomfort. By eliminating distractions and committing to a single, high-value task for an extended period, you are forcing your mind to grapple with the inherent difficulty of creation and problem-solving. Your brain will scream for the easy dopamine hit of a notification or a new tab. Resisting that scream and gently redirecting your focus back to the work is the fundamental exercise of mental toughness. It's a workout for your prefrontal cortex. Each time you win that small battle, your capacity for sustained focus grows stronger. This embrace of discomfort must be balanced with recovery. A muscle that is constantly under tension will tear. A mind that is constantly under strain will burn out. Strategic discomfort is followed by strategic rest. This isn't the passive, numbing rest of scrolling through a feed. It is active recovery, a walk in nature, meditation, journaling, quality time with loved ones, or simply allowing your mind to be idle and wander. This is when the synthesis happens. The growth doesn't occur during the stressful event itself, but in the period of recovery that follows. You are breaking down the old structures with discomfort and rebuilding them stronger during rest. It is a cyclical process of stress and adaptation. Look for small ways to introduce positive friction into your daily life. Take a cold shower. It teaches your body and mind to withstand a shock and remain calm. Practice intermittent fasting. It teaches you to observe feelings of hunger without being controlled by them. Deliberately leave your phone at home when you go for a walk. It teaches you to be present with your own thoughts. These small voluntary acts of discipline build a sort of discomfort callus. You prove to yourself in low-stakes scenarios that you can tolerate and even thrive in conditions that are less than ideal. This creates a deep, embodied confidence that you can handle the much larger, involuntary discomforts that life will inevitably throw your way. You are not just building a mind that can succeed. You are building a mind that can endure. Asymmetric leverage. The traditional world operates on a principle of symmetric exchange. You give 1 hour of your time, you get 1 hour's worth of pay. You give 1 unit of effort, you get 1 unit of result. This is the linear industrial era model that keeps most people trapped. The entire game of modern wealth creation and impact is about escaping this symmetry and finding sources of asymmetric leverage. Asymmetry is the principle of getting disproportionate outputs from your inputs. It's about finding the levers that allow you to move the world with minimal but highly focused effort. This is not about being lazy. It's about being intelligent with where you direct your energy. The most powerful form of leverage in the 21st century is permissionless leverage. This includes code and media. When you write a piece of software or create a piece of content, a video, an article, a podcast, you are creating an asset that can work for you 24/7 all over the world without your direct involvement. You do the work once and the asset can serve 1 million people. This is the ultimate asymmetry. The input is finite, your time and effort to create it, but the potential output is nearly infinite. A person working a service job can only serve 1 customer at a time. A person who creates a valuable YouTube video can serve millions simultaneously, even while they sleep. This is the foundational shift in thinking that separates the new rich from the old middle class. Capital is another form of leverage, but it's often the one people mistakenly focus on first. They think, I need money to make money. While true to an extent, capital is most powerful when it's used to amplify permissionless leverage. You use capital to run ads to your content. You use capital to hire an editor to improve your videos. You use capital to buy better software to build your product. But the leverage of code and media is available to anyone with a computer and an internet connection, often for free. You don't need to ask for permission to start a blog, a YouTube channel, or a Twitter account. You can begin building your leverage engine today with zero capital. Mental toughness is required here to persevere through the initial phase where your efforts seem to yield no results, to continue creating when your audience is zero. The other crucial form of leverage is your network or your audience. An audience is a group of people who have given you their attention and trust. This is a powerful form of leverage because it dramatically reduces the friction of launching new things. When you have a dedicated audience, you don't have to start from scratch every time you have a new idea. You have a built-in distribution channel. This leverage is built slowly, through consistency, and by genuinely providing value over a long period. Every piece of high-quality content you publish is a deposit into the trust bank of your audience. It's a long, slow charge that results in a powerful, asymmetric outcome down the line. Thinking in terms of leverage changes your daily decision-making. You stop asking, what task do I need to complete today? And start asking, what system can I build or what asset can I create today that will continue to provide value tomorrow? You stop thinking about one-off projects and start thinking about platforms. You stop focusing on tasks that have a 1:1 input to output ratio and prioritize those with a 1,000-1,000 ratio. This requires a long-term perspective. The initial effort to build a leverage engine is often greater than the effort required for a simple symmetric task, and the initial rewards are often smaller. But once the engine is built, it compounds, creating the kind of freedom and impact that is impossible to achieve through linear effort alone. The mentally tough player understands this delay and is willing to do the unrewarding upfront work to reap the asymmetric rewards later. Identity crafting. Underneath all the strategies, systems, and mental models lies the most fundamental layer, your identity. You do not simply attract what you want, you attract what you are. Your results in life are a lagging indicator of your identity. If you see yourself as a procrastinator, you will find ways to procrastinate, even if you have the world's best productivity system. If you see yourself as bad with money, you will subconsciously sabotage your financial success. The most profound work in building mental toughness is not in changing your habits, but in changing your deeply held beliefs about who you are. You must consciously and deliberately craft a new identity. This is a process of evidence-based belief change. An identity is simply a belief that has been reinforced by evidence. To change the identity, you must start by gathering new evidence, no matter how small. If you want to become a writer, the goal is not to write a book. The goal is to cast a single vote for that identity today. Write one sentence. That is a piece of evidence. Tomorrow, write 2 sentences. Now you have more evidence. You are not faking it until you make it. You are proving it to yourself, one small action at a time. The identity of writer is not earned when you get a publishing deal. It is earned through the daily, consistent act of writing. The external validation is irrelevant to the internal identity shift. Mental toughness is the ability to hold the vision of your future identity in your mind, even when your current reality offers no proof of it. It's the capacity to act in accordance with the person you want to become, not the person you have been. This is incredibly difficult because your brain, your environment, and often the people around you are all calibrated to reinforce your old identity. They expect you to behave in a certain way. When you begin to act differently, when the unhealthy person starts going to the gym or the employee starts working on a side business, it creates a cognitive dissonance. Your job is to tolerate that dissonance until the new identity becomes the default. This process requires a ruthless audit of your internal monologue. What are the stories you tell yourself about yourself? Are they empowering or limiting? Most of these stories were not written by you. They were inherited from your parents, your teachers, your past failures. Your work is to become the conscious editor of that internal narrative. When you catch yourself thinking, "I'm not the kind of person who can do that," you must stop and challenge that assumption. Where did that belief come from? Is it actually true? And then you must take a small action that contradicts it. This is active, conscious identity crafting. You are a sculptor, and the block of marble is your own self-concept. Every disciplined action is a tap of the chisel, chipping away what you are not to reveal who you are. The ultimate goal is to build an identity that is anti-fragile, one that gains from disorder. An identity built around being a learner, a problem solver, or a creator is far more robust than one built around a specific job title or company. If your identity is vice president at company X, you are fragile. A layoff can destroy your sense of self. If your identity is a creative professional who builds valuable systems, a layoff is merely a data point, an opportunity to pivot and apply that identity in a new context. This is the bedrock of true, lasting mental toughness. It's an internal locus of control that is independent of external circumstances. You are not your job. You are not your bank account. You are not your successes or failures. You are the architect of the system, the creator of the value, the crafter of the identity. Patient execution. We are drowning in a culture of immediacy. We want overnight success, instant results, and frictionless progress. This conditioning is the enemy of all meaningful achievement. The universe does not operate on our impatient timelines. The most powerful forces, compounding interest, skill acquisition, reputation building, are all products of time and consistency. The ultimate test of mental toughness, therefore, is patience. Not a passive waiting patience, but an active, persistent patience. It is the ability to execute the system day after day, week after week, for years, long before the results become visible. It is the embodiment of the phrase, "The master has failed more times than the beginner has even tried." The beginning of any new endeavor is filled with the valley of disappointment. You start the business, you launch the YouTube channel, you begin the new fitness regimen. You are full of motivation and you put in the work, but the feedback is zero. The metrics are flat. No one is watching, no one is buying, the scale isn't moving. This is the point where 99% of people quit. Their expectation of a linear relationship between effort and reward is violated, and they conclude that it's not working. The mentally tough individual understands that this is not failure. This is the price of admission. This is the necessary, unavoidable period of charging the battery. The work you do in this phase is not wasted. You are building skills, you are refining your system, you are gathering data, and most importantly, you are building the identity of someone who shows up even when it's not rewarding. To cultivate this patient execution, you must fall in love with the process, not the outcome. You have to find inherent satisfaction in the act of creation, in the solving of the problem, in the learning itself. If your only reward is the distant future goal, the daily work will feel like a torturous grind. But if you can derive joy from the craft, from writing a well-formed sentence, from designing an elegant piece of code, from having a productive workout, then you are rewarded every single day. The process becomes its own reward, and the external results are simply a bonus. This is the mindset that allows for infinite sustainability. You are no longer dependent on the validation of the market. You are fueled by your own engagement with the work. This requires a deliberate shift in your time preference. You must move from a high time preference, valuing immediate rewards, to a low time preference, valuing long-term outcomes. This means being willing to sacrifice the small pleasure of today for the much larger freedom of tomorrow. It means investing your money instead of spending it on a fleeting luxury. It means spending your evening learning a valuable skill instead of consuming passive entertainment. It means publishing the article that no one will read today, knowing that it is one brick in the foundation of a cathedral you are building that will stand for decades. This is not about deprivation. It's about strategic allocation of resources, your time, your energy, your attention, towards a future that is exponentially better. Patience is a superpower in a world that has none. While everyone else is jumping from one shiny object to the next, quitting when they don't see instant results, you are the one quietly, methodically, patiently executing your system. You are a force of nature. Like a river carving a canyon, your power comes not from sudden bursts of strength, but from relentless, persistent forward movement. The world will not notice you at first. You will be invisible. But one day, they will look up and see a Grand Canyon, and they will wonder how it got there. They will call it overnight success. But you will know the truth. You will know it was forged through 1,000 unseen days of patient execution, creative synthesis. This brings us to the final, most crucial frame. All these components, deconstructing reality, curating your inputs, thinking in systems, embracing discomfort, finding leverage, crafting your identity, and executing with patience, are not separate disciplines, they are ingredients. The ultimate goal, the art of a life well lived, is creative synthesis. This is the process of combining all these elements, along with your unique knowledge, skills, and curiosities, into something new and valuable that only you can offer the world. It is the final escape from the industrial era model of being a specialist, a cog in someone else's machine. You become a synthesizer, the architect of your own category. Mental toughness is not just about resilience, it's about the creative energy to see connections that others miss. While everyone else is digging deeper into their own narrow silo of expertise, you are looking across disciplines. You are taking an idea from evolutionary biology and applying it to a business problem. You are using a mental model from philosophy to design a better daily routine. You are combining your passion for 17th century art with your skill in digital marketing. This is where your true inimitable value lies. In a world of increasing automation, the skills that can be easily defined and replicated will be outsourced to machines. The future belongs to the synthesizers, the creative generalists who can dance between domains and weave disparate threads into a coherent, valuable tapestry. This is the essence of thinking wealth. True wealth is the output of this creative synthesis. It's not about finding a clever tactic or a hot market. It's about building a personal monopoly. This is the unique intersection of your knowledge and skills where you are the best in the world. It might be a very small niche, but within it you are peerless. This is built by following your genuine curiosity. The inputs you choose, the skills you acquire, they should not be dictated by what is popular, but by what genuinely fascinates you. This authentic curiosity will lead you down a unique path of learning. Over time, your combination of interests and skills will be so specific to you that no one can compete. You are not playing their game, you have created your own. This is the ultimate expression of personal sovereignty. You are no longer just a consumer of culture and a participant in the economy. You are a creator of culture and a shaper of your own microeconomy. Your daily success is not measured by a to-do list, but by your creative output. Did you learn something new? Did you connect two old ideas to create a new one? Did you express that new idea and share it with the world in some form? This is the work. It is deeply personal, endlessly fascinating, and profoundly resilient. The world can change, industries can crumble, but your ability to learn, synthesize, and create is a meta skill that will always be valuable. You become anti-fragile. This is the final insight. Mental toughness is not a shield you use to endure a life you hate. It is the internal engine that empowers you to build a life you love. It's the courage to deconstruct the old reality and the discipline to build a new one. It's the patience to plant seeds and the wisdom to nurture the entire ecosystem, not just one flower. It is the quiet confidence that comes from knowing that your value is not in what you do, but in how you think. It is the realization that your entire life can be your greatest creative project. The mind is not a vessel to be filled, but a fire to be kindled. The toughness you seek isn't an armor to protect you from the world. It is the internal combustion required to shape the world to your will. It's the quiet, relentless force that turns abstract thought into tangible reality day by day, until the person you imagine yourself to be and the person you are one and the same. YouTube comment: this is the video I've been searching for without knowing it. For years, I've been trying to optimize myself within the existing system, feeling like a hamster on a faster wheel. The idea of deconstructing reality first before trying to build anything is a paradigm shift. And framing mental toughness as the patient execution of a personal system rather than just hustling feels sustainable and true. Time to stop consuming and start synthesizing. Thank you for drawing the map.